Welcome to Gray Mason Gaming Plays Solaris. This series is going to be the Team Space War. What we're looking at here is a 15 v 15. 15 players on each team. However, there's a few differences from the normal Solaris experience you'll get. Number one, it's set teams. You can't unally. You win as a team, you lose as a team. All 15 players are united. You win by getting 75% of the galaxy across all players. So you don't need an individual. The team gets 75% of the stars. Number two, there's no trading of any kind. No tokens, no money, no technology. That means every empire is their own little island and needs to be able to pull their weight. The only thing you could really do beyond sharing intel is using your ship. You can still attack together, coordinate, defend each other's areas. So that's the big change. And then a couple of other things on here, and we're going to get into this in more detail, but just to call it out at the beginning, is this is going to be using split resources. So typically you have the 50-50-50 50 resources, and that applies to both economy, industry, and science. In this mode, there's a different value for economy, industry, and science. So if I want to get in this nebula a science, it's the equivalent of 103 resources, but only 51 if I were to do industry, and only 37 if I do economy. So each star is a little bit of a snowflake here, and that's going to make a big difference. So the teams. The teams that we're talking about here are, on Team 1 these are the Discord names: Zip-Zap, Serenat, Sharon, Dane, Bapo, Ladaz, Roylek, Sfeel, Zaxmac, Silafrena, AJ, Sweeper, Limiting Factor, Podso, and an anonymous speckled gem. Could be anybody. On our team we have Twig Golf, so I'm Team 2, Goric, Hill Belichick, Metra, we'll call him Met, Tyrannosaurus Rex, T-Rex, Melkor, Battery, Cabal, Lyra, Madison, Tremec, Unlimited Expansion, Dominion. I am, this ID, Idolix is me, and then Jewish Star Empire. So these are the teams. It's also, the ticks are every 2 hours instead of one, so it's a little bit more lengthy. Oh, and the starting stars are 50 instead of 20. So for every player, there's 50 stars allocated, which means there should be longer before people run into each other. So I am going under the name of Monster, and we are now almost to the end of round 1, cycle 0. So let's go through, and at this point I know nothing. There's a Discord set up. Everybody's in it. Everybody's talking about different strategies. I wanted to maintain as many tokens as I could, but I did feel I needed an explorer because I couldn't get to this planet that has the binary star that has really cheap or high resources on industry, and it was the only binary that I could see, and so I really wanted to get that. So I went with the explorer. It gives me the speed, it gives me the range, and that's all I spent. So at this point we are now just starting the game, and we know it's going to be a little bit longer before we run into each other, and we have no idea where we're at on the map. Starting to get some stars, starting to expand, start to make some decisions. Again, not super exciting, because I don't know, in any direction I could be completely surrounded by enemies or by friends. I could be in the middle of the map, I could be in the corner of the map. Nobody knows. And then here on tick 13 I come across this guy. This is Country Club Nut Mix, who happens to be T-Rex. So this is one of the good guys. So very happy about that. And then also at this point I notice Boblin. Boblin's a bad guy. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to blow up one of his ships. And I've got a friend, I've got an enemy. And luckily for me, when I went here and I did get this binary, I instantly put on 4 industry. It's the only industry I bought in round 1. but I thought I want to at least start to take advantage of it, and I got really lucky that I had an enemy to my south. At this point, I feel like I might be like in the northeast corner, because I'm not seeing a lot to my north, and I'm not seeing a lot to my east. And then I also see enter your alias here. That is Met, another good guy. So at this point, I'm very happy. I've got what I think is to be kind of a northern rim and eastern, so I'm not seeing enemies on my north or my east. I'm having friends on my west and my southwest, and an enemy to my south. We can 2v1. That is a good start. Continue to expand. There's Boblin. And yeah, and so here's where we're at today, at this exact moment. This is my view of the world. So thoughts. I'm going to go ahead. I don't think I'm going to get any more planets in this next tick, so I might as well go ahead. It is set up now. This is a new feature from when I recorded last, where you can go ahead and have it automatically do bulk upgrades, and you can have it do bulk upgrades 100% of your money, and you can do it at the end of the cycle. I'm going to go ahead and just do it now, and we're going to get 15. So where do we end up? The end of the cycle, 36 economy, 10 industry, 4 science. What are we researching? Doing banking, which we'll get next cycle. And then I'm thinking going to terraforming. And the reason is because I want weapons. That's a long time, so I figure like let's go ahead and get a little more economy going first. Again, remember, I can't trade with my friends. Now I do have maps, and I'll show those on the screen here from Met. He also shares a border with T-Rex, and he has a bad guy up in the top left, and you'll see it on the screen. I don't remember off the top of my head. T-Rex here, I forget what he has. You'll see it on the map. So both of them shared their images, and we merged them together. In addition to that, another player on our team is on the south side of Boblin, so we can basically hit him from the north, hit him from the west, hit him from the south, and try to get rid of him really quick, which is good. That would be really good. Let's get rid of Boblin. We hate Boblin in these parts. These parts, we're not Boblin fans. So that's it. I think this game's going to go very long. Very long. We need 1,125 stars as a team. At 34.
Moving into Cycle 1. We'll pick up on Tick 18 from here. And basically, there's 3 things to talk about this in Cycle 1. One is going to be our attack on Boblin, our assault and our plans there. The second is going to be about the continued exploration. And third, we'll take a look at the big picture that we know about. So the big thing here is right now I'm assuming that I'm only against one enemy. And but I'm really nervous about what's over here on my east and north because I thought I was in a corner. And as you see, as we progress here, we'll kind of keep a watch on that. And yeah, so now we're at tick 20. We're moving in, and I spoke with Nutmix. By the way, I've totally screwed up like Discord versus in-game name, so I'm not even going to try. They're just whatever their in-game name is, and we'll put credits at the end of who's who. I told him I'm going to go grab a couple more ships, and we're going to come down and we're going to kind of joint attack this area here. Meanwhile, Boblin's going to get his nebula, so am I. I have my ships coming down from in the new cycle, right? We're coming out of home. We're coming down here. My explorer's grabbing my binary star. So our goal this cycle is to get down and start to push on Boblin. So that's what's going on here. We're going to keep an eye on all of this at the same time. And yeah, continue. I got this other star. Still nothing to my east. When I got here, I saw, again, I had some choices. The reason I went this one is because I wanted to get the binary and start building up some industry, just in case there is an enemy over there. But I figured it was pretty late in the game for people still to have these open stars. So I grabbed this one and boom, another one. I had to get a Pathfinder because the range was so far. And I'm like, all right, we'll do it again. Now I know enter your alias here goes pretty far north. There's and there's people way up north, and he's kind of at a wall, so I wasn't sure what's going on over there. But and I was sad that I only had one ship, so I couldn't do multiple carriers at this point in time to explore that faster. So he grabbed that. He's going down there. I grabbed this binary. Give me a little more vision. Coming back with our troops, coordinated with Nutmix. Let's see. So right now during this time frame, I'm getting, I finished banking and I'm going for range 2 because this whole mess over here, I just really need that extra range. And then either go, if I don't find anyone up here, I'll go to spec 2 because I shouldn't need weapons urgently because I'm not going to be under attack. But you can see I finally got my binary. I immediately loaded up with just a little bit of industry to get another ship out there. And my explorer's coming down and going directly onto this 2 economy star. So 31, got more. There's the wall to my east. I could be against the... Actually, I don't think I'm against the east because of the information, but I think I'm on a peninsula. That's what I think's going on. All right, so let's zoom in down here for a second, because you can see the double jointed attack. If this were not a team game, I'd be slightly annoyed that he brought one more and then is going to take the star, but we're the same team. And I've got Peleni and Nebula, so it's probably just as well. I told him I'm going to hit here and bounce over, and he can go deal with that stuff. This here, so I don't know what's in this nebula, but clearly we're about to find out. My assumption is just this one ship. So we're moving up to 34. Oh, did I skip? Yeah, I don't want to skip the excitement. Yeah, so there it is. There's the 4 versus 28. That's math that I like to see. I take that. I see a couple more stars down here, so I'm going to immediately launch against those and leave one behind because I assume he's got like one. I don't want him to be able to pick that off. I'm bringing in reinforcements because why not? We do take over. We do hit this one. You can see he left. He had 12 in that nebula. Right? So had we not brought the numbers we did, he saw he was going to lose it, so he retreated. And so that's very interesting to see. And we have a pretty good vision down here now on what's down there. Another nebula. Yeah, so he's bringing those 12 over. I'm going to jut over to the east, as I said. I do lose sight on that. And then interestingly here on tick 30, I blow up. Now I do take this one here. And so I lose all 11. I don't know what he has in there, but he's got industry. Hopefully this remaining 10 can carry the day and finish that off. If not, I do have another 37 on the way, another 20, 30 here. So I've got plenty to continue to push, but it'll be nice to get that nebula. And it'll be nice if I can get this binary too. That's so priority 1 are these two, priority 2 here, pushing everything south. Still haven't found anything, still continue to push out. And that's it for cycle 1. Now I will show you, this is a map that Jewish Star Empire put together. As best we can tell from all the connections, it accounts for all 15 players on our team and 13 of the 15 of the enemy. So it looks like, right here's Boblin between Nutmix, myself, the Shrine, and Alpha. There's 4 of us that are kind of around him, although Alpha doesn't have a great attack point. So if we just all push on Boblin, that's ideal for us. Let's see. I'm not going to go through all this. There's a lot going on. Piggy's probably in our worst shape, being surrounded by a lot of enemies. But beyond that, I don't think anyone's like miserably surrounded. Maybe Pugfarts. He's got 1, 2, 3. with only one friend, but he's pushing on this me really well, and hopefully can neutralize that threat. But he's in a tough spot. So yeah, so we'll see how this picture evolves over time. But for now, it's all about Boblin. It's all about pushing in this northeast corner and just making sure that Met's okay and Dishwasher's okay. Dishwasher's our friend. So really, those two will probably have to deal with those two over there. I'll take care of Boblin and see what happens next. Cycle 2. Let's start Cycle 2 taking a look at this northeast corner, because this is pivotal in terms of long-term play. As we move into Cycle 2, we start to uncover the last 3 possible locations of another front, and boom, the first one is not. Boom, the second one is not. Finally, third, boom, the last one is not. So that ends that. When you look here, I am now 2 sides safe with 2 allies on my west and only Boblin to my south. So let's talk about Boblin. We're going to back it up to cycle tick 40, and we're going to focus on here. Again, we have a couple of priorities, 1, 2, and 3, and really we want to get this binary down. But here we go. This should be uncontested. This, I think they only shouldn't have a whole lot. So we take both of these, but I took a tremendous amount of hits on this fight here. I forgot that that was an asteroid belt, or I didn't know. Actually, did I not know that? Yeah, no, I knew. I just didn't pay attention. So my 10 ships were almost decimated trying to take that out. And that was unfortunate. And I'm like, all right, and it was a 4-hour trip. Same thing here. I took this one, 4-hour trip, and I tried to be greedy. And what happens? He added an industry on each, which means both of my carriers are going to blow up. So bad on me. There's 50 credits just thrown out the window. Down here, I go ahead and capture these easy stars on the outside, but this is growing, and this is once I get this down, I'll be able to really push in. So we're moving forward. And by the way, 10 seconds left in the cycle, so I don't know how this one's going to end myself. So we're reinforcing over here, no big deal. I want to push on this one, and I want to get this one. I have my other reinforcements coming in, and as this is coming in, I'm doing the math on what they could have and could I take it. I forgot that siege breakers aren't available. They're one of the banned carrier specialists, and so I'm going to have to attack it with an infiltrator like Colonel or Admiral or some of the other ones, which means that they could easily defend it and blow me up, and I didn't want to lose my presence. So I know that 5 tokens were killed from a raider. Now, Nutmix saw an explorer carrying a bunch of ships over, so I know there's 8 of his starting 9. So there's 1 left, and then we've had now 2 cycles. So he could have at most, well, at this point, what is it, cycle 2? Yeah, so there should only be 3 at most. But that was enough, so I just paused to see what happens here. So here we go. Really, at this point, because of that, I realized I need to hold off here and just make sure I don't want to be a little too hasty and throw my ships away. And but what I do want to do is get these other 2 stars. And so here's where we're at with cycle 60. So we are now live. I have taken this, and that Explorer with the 35 are coming back my way, clearly to defend this choke point. And so to me, that means I think I made the right choice. These 32 should be able to take the 5, but I need to be cautious here. We're at 55 each, and you know, it's a long trip to get more reinforcements there. So that's this front of Boblin. Looking at the flank of Boblin, we have Alpha. Now Alpha does have some other people to contend with, like Viva, but they were able to do some damage on Boblin. You see here there was a cluster of 3 Boblin stars, and boom, one of them went down, hoping to get that whole cluster. So there's pressure coming in from Boblin there. Then you move over to Madison. Now Madison has to worry about their southeast flank, but they do have Mustachio Mario to their northeast as well as Alpha to their southeast. But Boblin, that's okay. You can see here the image that Madison sent. There is another binary with 4 industry on it and another cluster of stars, and they sent 150 ships in. They should be landing soon. Now, they could be destroyed if Boblin buys a kernel. But if he buys a kernel there, and Madison lets me know, then I know they won't have enough tokens to buy one by me, and then the binary star by me will be able to go down. So good job, Madison. So let's take a tour around the galaxy, starting nearby. So looking at Nutmix, his map is very clear. He's got Boblin to his east and Vivi to the south. Monster and I are on the other side, so he's only got 2 fronts to worry about. We've been working great together so far. Vivi, however, has been becoming problematic, looking like there's large stacks. Goric sent an image, and he's got Alpha to his east, but Vivi to his north. So he will be pushing into Vivi, but says he can't do it alone, even though he's huge. But they'll have to work together on that once Boblin's taken care of. Elsewhere to my north, we have Alias. Now, Alias is also in a pretty good position, because Alias has me to the east, Nutmix to the south, Dishwasher to the north, all allies. He only is going to go into Mies, and he can go in there knowing that he's fully protected otherwise. Dishwasher, likewise, has Mies. However, he also has Baghera, so he's going to be in a little bit more trouble. That's why Alias is really going to have to push on Mies hard. But still, that's a 2v2 up north, and then we have a 2v1 on Vivi, and 4v1 on Boblin. So the western part of the galaxy, we should come out on top. Alright, we're picking up in Cycle 3. Where'd we leave off? We are making our assault on one of the last stray Boblin stars, and we're looking at Vasto. That's really the big guy here, this binary we want. We want it bad. And here's the thing, we did the math, and we said, you know what? We see these ships coming in, but let's go ahead and force him to use a siege breaker, or to waste some tokens. The reason is because we know Madison got him to burn some tokens. So as we're looking at this, we say, okay, boom, we got this one over here. We're reinforcing. We're looking at when our reinforcements are coming in from the rest of the map. And we said, all right, we don't want this to get too built up. And because we know Madison made him burn tokens, he's at most has 2 left. So we were sitting at 9. Were we sitting at 9? Yeah, we were sitting at 9. Let's burn 3 of those. And if he doesn't burn any tokens, we take this over. He just bumped this up to 6 industry. Like, this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue if we don't deal with it. We know there's 40 ships sitting in this nebula right here. We don't know what's down here, and we don't know how much reinforcements, but we're gonna make him burn his tokens. And he does. He builds the Monster Hunter, and with that, it's only a +1, but it costs him 2 tokens. He should now be at 0 tokens, and that's important. Now you see this Explorer going away. This Explorer travels for 8 hours, which is equivalent of 5 ticks. So we're at 71, and that means at 76 it's going to reach its destination. And this is going to be important, and you kind of see where it's going. 12 ships are going to come down from here. And the reason this is important is because Nutmix was making a play and just got sniped, just cold sniped by a cruel Boblin arrow. But right here, 76, we know right about here is where that Explorer was going. Now at this point, we don't know what exactly is happening. However, we've got the 84 on its way, and we are saying, you know what? If we launch now, when these 51 land, we were going to immediately launch with another kernel, and that would guarantee success at Fosto. However, Boblin's no fool. He immediately jumped off, and now what you see is this is 5 ticks between here and here. With 51, that means I'm guessing this is his capital right here. His capital's got to be right here, which means once this goes down, he goes down. That being said, that really sucks. That really, really sucks, because now when this lands, I can't go. And so we move forward and we get to tick 80. And that is where the cycle ends. The plan now is we know that he's going to get another set of 2 tokens. He could build a cannon for another +1, but when these land, and when these land over here, I launch all of them, and I should have close to 200 ships. I can go in with a colonel and an infiltrator, so it's +2 and -1 for him. He can probably get to +2, which evens it out, but I take away his defender bonus, and I'm going to have way more. He'll have around 100 ships. I'll have about double that. Now, unless something funky happens down here with more reinforcements, but that's going to be the plan on Boblin. And while this attack's going on Boblin, I asked about what's going on with Alpha in his attacks, and he sent over where he took over those 3, that cluster of 3, and he showed the success that he had there, which was great. There's a binary star that he could get, or one further north, so he's trying to figure out, can he go ahead and push in or not. And then the Shine, Madison, she basically looked at this and sent a really nice map, and it shows he's built up on his eastern front as well. He's a stud. Now he's falling behind in science, which is going to be key, but buffing up industry. And so she said, instead of trying to take on this binary head on, let me take this cluster of 3 up north. It's going to force him to make some moves. We got some reports in from our allies. Gorik, who is the largest in our alliance, says Vivi is actually even larger than him, which is frightening because he's, I think, at 80 stars, and says Vivi just is outmatching him. So that's going to be a big deal. But if we can kill off Boblin quickly enough, then I can push in with him and Alpha and even Nutmex to deal with Vivi. And that would be the entire southwest corner. Dishwasher also has a precarious western front against Bagheera and Mies. He said the bleeding has stopped, but they're just mounting up, and it doesn't look good for him. He could fall pretty quickly. So I need to also get my northern ships up. So I built up in the north, and I started getting some industry rolling up there and some carriers to get some ships rallied. Sent out a scout to start scouting out the path. So I figured my northern third can go and help Dishwasher, and then my 2/3 in the south deal with Boblin. We have Piggy, who is way out in the east from me and under attack, really surrounded by enemies, and that's terrifying. And then we have good news is, even though Piggy's getting killed by the hunt, we have the Jewish Star Empire and Green Circle over there in the corner pushing on FFA and the hunt, and really seeming to make some progress against the hunt.
Time. It is absolutely time. I am not doing so hot. My fleets are far away from the front line. I have not built industry really on the front except for here on these 2 binaries. Didn't do it because I was focusing a lot more on econ. My econ is fantastic. My industry is not so hot. My science is going to get there. This coming cycle is going to be an industry and science cycle. But that does not answer the question of how I go about this. I'm going to lose this fight and the lieutenant. Patty Melt will have made one total update. Unfortunately, he is going to die. Um, they have 94 ships here. They had a lot more on this binary than I expected. They'll only have 5 ships left there. They'll have 52 ships there. If they tried to assault, I don't think I could hold them off, as my raider is still pretty far away. He'll take longer than it would take them to counterattack. I have this front, which I know there is a minimum of 60 ships on this star. An additional 60 ships here. I've got 55. That's all I've got. Ignore this. And there's a reason why you have to ignore this. I've got 55. It's growing at a very slow rate. And I do know from an image shared by an ally that there is an additional at least 79 ships headed in this direction for this front. Probably will arrive either in Draya or Thuni. The reason why we have to ignore this is because they are being diverted. They are being diverted to here because apparently he has scanning on Dara. And so he will be attacking Dara, trying to hit me, opening up a third front. I need help because at this point in time, Vivi has a shit ton of industry. They have to. I have already killed quite a number of their ships. They've killed mine as well. But they are able to pull fleets out of thin air. Assistance would be good. And if you could open up additional fronts for them, because as of right now, it is very clear and obvious that they are focusing solely on me. It's the only thing they seem to have to worry about.
This video is classified. You must not share this video with anyone outside of Team 2 until after the game has ended. I have returned after 24 hours of absence. Thankfully, nothing has happened that is catastrophic in that time. Well, nothing catastrophic in that time. I mean, there is still the matter of that I have not built up as much economy as I should have, and for these many stars, I should have had much more economy. I mean, just if I had saved even a little bit more for economy, right? I'd have double the amount I have right now. So that was a blunder, which I intend to fix by spending everything on economy next cycle. I hope I have built up enough industry and science to suffice in that time. We'll see. Well, it appears there's no enemies to the northeast, so that means I can divert many ships to the west against the hunt and free-for-all enthusiast. I have routed this explorer to carry ships from this fleet, that star, and this fleet and that star to arrive here. And because of the warp gates, it will be able to assemble here very quickly. The fleet I estimate the fleet to be at least roughly 60 ships, and given that the hunt is already going to be attacked by Canis Cosmos anyway, the extra 60 ships will help in that general assault. There's still a bit of an issue, mostly because our ally, Piggy, is basically neighbors of a bunch of people. The Huns, Evander, Balrog, and definitely the Bob. So he has 4 enemies, and I'm pretty sure they're planning on... Actually, he even has 5, because there's also me in the north. So I assume they're trying to do a 5v1 against him. So the assault against the Hunt will be especially critical, because it will certainly divert the attention from one of the 5. Let's see. Pugfarts in Space is currently giving me a very bloody nose, taking 2 binaries and a very heavily built up 7 industry star. So that was a major loss for me in the northeast. And so basically, it's not really going to be a 1v5. He will have Canis and me beating up the Huns, so that takes him out of the fight. Me is getting beaten up by Pugfart, so that takes him out of the fight, which leaves, and Balrog also neighbors him, so it could be these two. And also, definitely the Bob also has neighbors with cannons. That leaves Evander. And Evander, too, is not free to full send all his ships against Piggy because he also neighbors Brown Diamond. With only half-hearted contributions from everyone else, because if they try to concentrate against Piggy, then the lack of ships in their other fronts will be sorely felt when counterattacks occur, such as my 60 fleet push into the northwest. Hopefully that should relieve him, because that's pretty much all I can do. But hopefully the hunt will scream bloody murder as he's getting ripped apart, and perhaps that will even draw Evander's ships away from Piggy. And maybe that should be enough to help him out. We'll see. Alright, so I've abandoned... you can't abandon in this game. And because of that, I have thought ahead and left this star unclaimed, and I've also left this star unclaimed. So, Green Circle has not reported on any enemies in his borders. We've accounted for 13 of the 15 enemies, so the extra 2 could be anywhere. But since we're on the eastern edge, I doubt it, and that means I should be expecting full support from Green Circle, unless... there's still 2 enemies unaccounted for, so there really could be some over there, and if there is, then we will have to stamp him out so that we can close up a front. So it depends. But if we do see and guarantee that there is indeed no other enemies, then we should be able to pile drive into Free for All Enthusiast, and then from there, hopefully we'll take control of this cluster and then make a push there. So we seem to have an advantage there. There might be a problem. Well, I don't know. There might be some. I think there's a bunch of people here, and there's some empty space which is not accounted for. So we will see. Now onto cartography. A map report has come in with information that has allowed me to finally unite the maps into one cohesive picture of the galaxy. This puts my region of the map to the east of the rest of the team, although I don't have the exact reference points to make the positions absolute. I am confident that they are relatively correct. So, that's good. At long last, there it is, a grand and unified picture of the map. With this, we will be able to... Well, it puts Balrog to the east of Bug. That's close enough, is it not? It doesn't change too much. I see. Well, in that case... there we go. That should be good enough. All 15 team members accounted for, and 13 of 15 enemies accounted for. We'll need to keep our eyes peeled for the last 2. Now, on to local matters. Due to the geography of the map, there are strong and weak positions. There are many opportunities we must seize and in turn prevent the enemy from seizing. To this end, fleets are already on the move. In the west, an assault against Boblin is underway, led by Monster, Country Club, and Alpha Serpentis. In the south, Lifehouse Dayong has begun an attack against Skrog. In the center, Pug presses an attack after a stunning victory over Meh. East of this, the enemy launched a multi-pronged assault against Piggy. And finally, Canis Cosmos and the Jewish Star Empire prepare an assault against the Hunt.
Picking up in Cycle 4. Again, singular focus. This is the Boblin game. We're going to be going down and we're looking to take Vosto. That is the big goal this cycle. And we've got our ships coming into play. And we'll see what's going on. Now, he reinforced. We're doing math here. And we're ready to make our move. And here it is. When we add all this up and we look at the math, we know that he's sitting on 2 tokens. When you add up all these ships, there's no way he can defend this without more ships. And so I open myself up a bit to counterattacks. However, like he had this explorer. He could have like jumped here and ran up. My logic on counterattacks is people, I think, aren't aggressive enough, and they fear this big counterattack. But honestly, if he jumps here and starts to take these little crappy stars, I get his 7th industry star, and then we know his home is around here. I'm going to push into his home, and he'll get a couple of crappy stars, and I'll have 13 more economy. So I think people shouldn't worry too much about the counterattacks. And here we go. We're excited. We don't think there's any way that this could lose. And at the last second, what does he do? Here we go. He had added another industry as well. I take it with almost no losses. He retreats, which is probably not a terrible move. He's retreating into an asteroid belt, I think, hoping I follow him. But at this point, what do? I've got vision. Oh, and I do have vision now. This is, in fact, his home star, and it's only got 21 ships on it. I've got this big boy, where this guy Vosto is giving me 2.1, but I can do better. I can do better than that because he's already invested 7. What's one more? So not only do I do one more, but for good measure, I throw it on a research station. Is that a good use of 2 tokens? Probably not. But it sends a message, doesn't it? It sends a message and really helps secure. Plus, I know that sitting right here is the Shine. Sitting right here is Alpha. We have Viva here. So this is my most southern kind of foothold. If I really buff this up and really churn out the troops, I'll be able to help with Viva, there's been some concern between Goric and Alpha and Nutmix that they're going to hit them. So it'll help with them. And then we know that at some point I'm going to have to push east. And so it'll really bolster this up to help support the Shine when needed. So it may have been overkill, but it's 2 more manufacturing right now, and it's going to add up over the course of the game. So that's what I did. I'm at 0 tokens now. 33 credits, not much left to do. I coordinate with Nutmix, and we said, okay, let's let you take this. And so I send 34, he's going to send 35 in a coordinated assault here. The other thing I notice is this little guy. Now Madison's pushing over. I'm going to show you Madison's front here in a second. But this Explorer could be pivoting to come back up here, or going over to deal with the Shine. So we're going to watch this closely and respond accordingly. And we're just watching and waiting, and there it goes. So 2 interesting things this tick. One is the retreat out of Aaron. Don't totally get that. They're going to lose the 50 ships. Anyways, I would think weakening us would make sense, but I'm happy to take a star not contested. My only guess is that they're getting close to weapons 2, and maybe they're hoping, well, if I can just hold off on engaging with those until I get weapons 2, I can get a better trade. So at this point, when I see this moving, I made the call. The call was, let's push in. And at this point, I've got the 101 ships arriving. They're not arriving for 18 more hours, which is 9 more ticks. They can get here in 12, which is 6 ticks. So they could counterattack. But again, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about it because I could absorb it, and it just makes us open. So instead, what does he do? Looks like he's going to move back and defend, which is great. That means my all-in was the right move. And I took this star, and this was a bit of a surprise to me. Something I learned when you look at this fight. First of all, he didn't even leave 1 ship behind, so mistakes are being made at this point. And I took it because I have the largest carrier. I thought it was the largest total number of ships. So I meant for Nutmix to get this, and I took it. Now this was a little bit late at night, and so I told him, you know what? I don't want these 50 ships coming down here and defending. They could get there in time. So I'm just going to go ahead, and if he goes to defend with those, I'll go ahead and get this. But I'm hoping to lock those 50 in place. That was the plan. But yeah, so here we go. We time these up. They're both going to get there at this point at the same time. We're doing the math. That's 180-ish, 178. And so let's just do the math, because I spent a decent amount of time honestly doing this, and so it's worth talking through the logic here. 178. I'm at 2, or I will be at 2 when I land. Weapons plus these 2 brings me to 4. They are going to be defending. They're at 1, plus this guy is 1, but minus my infiltrator. They're plus 1 to 2, but then I infiltrate back to 1. So if this is the case, I did the math. I forget now the number. It's, what would it be? Let's just say it's about 125. It might be a little more. They would need 353. So I'm like, well, but we know they're going to have 4 tokens, so they could buy a kernel instead and get up to 3. That would still not be enough. They could instead bring me down with an infiltrator. That would put me here. Not enough. What if they did both? Now, how would they do both? Oh, if they spent 2... I don't even know. Either way, I think I've got this. I did a bunch of permutations. And if I don't take it right now, it would suck to lose both of those specs. But got 101 ships coming right behind there, and that would be the plan to take them. So let's keep going. This is it. This is the last tick. The last tick here is one more surprise. It's a retreat of these 55 troops. I don't know, again, why. At least he left 1 behind this time. But I'm going to get another free star. So that's where we leave it on the Boblin front. The only other thing I route is I say let's go ahead and I killed this route for a second. I'll just buy another carrier later. Let's attack with this. What is that? 30, 40, 41, and we'll go grab these 2 stars as well. And if for some reason I'm really close, they'll already be on the way and close to just go. Like if that fails, those 41 might be enough to take it. So it's another contingency plan / all right, let's just take those stars. I know there's an explorer with some ships over here. Let's take a look at what Madison has. So looking back at what we were sent from the Shine, early in this cycle, she was able to go ahead and take this foothold here on, I can't quite read it, but this first star in the cluster of 3. And that was huge because basically then they saw the nebula that I see. So we are, at this point, almost touching, which is outstanding. And the decision was, let's leave this binary alone and take the other clusters of stars. And see now by the end of the cycle, she does push in. She takes that 2 industry star. She's pushing on the 2 industry asteroid belt. So she's applying pressure there, which is probably what triggered that explorer with reinforcements coming her way. And so now Boblin's like, who do I defend? Do I defend against the monster? Do I defend against the Shine? They're just getting eaten alive, which is great. And this binary now between Elf and the Shine can be coordinated against Boblin's days are numbered. If you take a look at what Nutmeg sent with his Boblin front, you can see there's not much left on the west side of Boblin. There's this nebula up there that at some point he's going to pick off. You can see us taking those top 2 stars. And at that point, the only thing left that he'll see from Boblin is that cluster of 4 stars. And for that cluster of 4, he's also starting to get close to Vivi, and Vivi is going to be the next point of contention. But there is a big binary star for Boblin down there, so there is a final foothold for him, and we know the 55 ships are headed that way. And you see here Vivi's making a move. So let's look at what Goric has here with the Vivi front. On the VV front, you're basically looking at Goric, Alpha, and Nutmix right now, all surrounding them. But VV is actually more built up than any of them. I think long term it's going to be fine. But if you look at this picture, this image that Nutmix posted, he posted the meme, chuckles, I'm in danger. He is. There's a big threat. Now we see Alpha has done an assault already. He's launched on VV, and Gorik's made some progress, but then is going to lose a battle. Let's let him explain what's happening in his own words.
Well, it's an update from the front. VV has decided to move ships. I'm unsure why. I am unsure what the purpose is. I have now begun to stack ships on my border, but unfortunately, there is another carrier here on Goba. I don't know what it is. Let's see if we can tell what it was. It's 57 ships. Goba, from what I can tell, is an industry 4-star. And so there's probably around 100 ships on Goba now. That's unfortunate. 100 ships on Goba, an additional 90, 100 ships on Mela when he arrives in 5 hours and 22 minutes. That's unfortunate. 114 ships for me, and I don't have much very close. I am sending my raider back on the long trek and journey to pick up ships. All right, well, over here on this side looks a little bit more favorable. Not that long ago, there were this star in Draya, as it's called. It's like 4 ticks ago or so. No, probably more than 4 ticks ago now. Let's see if we can track back the timetable to see it. But it actually relinquished some ships, and they started heading north. I have a funny feeling that VV is feeling some pressure on his northern border, just from the fact of Boblin collapsing, and so they had to send 49 ships that are going north from this particular star in Draya. But that leaves me in a better position on this side, which actually was supposed to be the side that I wasn't going to do anything on. I have now changed my strategy and will be advancing probably to try and take Chitra. I'm not sure if I will succeed, but I will be doing that, I imagine, sometime tomorrow. My goal is to collect these 10 ships, which should be around 12 ships. Drop them off here, so in 13 hours, as well as in 11 hours, I should say, these ships will arrive, giving me approximately 125, 130 ships. With that, I will be taking what tokens I have left, purchasing myself a lieutenant, right? Yeah, probably a lieutenant, and advancing. I am 11 hours away from weapons, which means that hopefully, if all goes well, Chitra will be mine by the end of day tomorrow. I am uncertain of this, so wish me luck, gentle souls. Wish me luck, for it is luck that I will need, and the assistance of all the gods.
Finally, let's talk about up north. We have now rerouted half of our ships that go up north. We are going to be helping our friend Dishwasher and Alias, who are 2v2ing, and but Dishwasher's in a losing position, so that front is in danger. Alias is actually very strong, but won't be able to take on both of them. So I'm going to send half of my ships up and begin to defend Dishwasher as well, working through the route. It's still a day and 12 hours fully warp gated, and my first wave will be 30 ships, followed by 40 ships, and it's going to take some time because I've been focused on Boblin, but help is on the way to the north. More to come. Cycle 5. Here we go. So we've captured Vasto. We're going in, making the initial push. Let's see how this pans out. We're just going to stay focused here on the front. Again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit again just to show I'm pushing up here. with some minimal troops, really just trying to get the path established, but it's still Boblin time. I go ahead and just take a shot here, and lo and behold, what do we have? Alpha. So Alpha, if you recall, had those couple stars down here. We didn't know how close he was, but here he is. That's a wonderful, beautiful sight to see our buddy Alpha. And what that means is there's no more enemies south. We're really like, this is it. And we know there's a clump right here by Vivi. And we know right over here, this star here is right next to the Shine. So we are right there finishing him off. Doing the math, getting ready for the big push, the big exciting attack, and this home is ours. Now, he retreated. Again, we got him on the run, boys. Alpha takes this star. We'll take a quick look at his stats compared to ours. Maybe, yeah. From a tech perspective, we are ahead of him, but he's doing fine. He's actually bigger than me. For his economy, he's bigger than me from Discord. And then I go ahead and I take this star for free. I continue to push ahead and immediately go right into here. And I'm waiting to see what happens. And I see these 74. So it looks like they're continuing to retreat. So at this point, the ships that I had that took this little star for free, I'm pushing in to get a little more vision and see what I can see there. And at this point, I'm like, well, if you're going to just retreat, then I'm going to keep pushing in. And I go ahead and I will shortly be attacking. Or maybe I was waiting. Oh yeah, there we go. So let me go back one. Yeah, so when I'm here, I see Alpha. That's where he came from. And then I also see the Shine. So here's the Shine. I'm a little bit ahead of her as well, but she's doing some work over here. We'll see at the end of the cycle. So yeah, like there's not much left of Boblin. He's got a few stars over here, and we're making a push on this star. He's continuing to retreat over to the Vivi star, and so it's getting close to the end for Boblin. Do the same thing where I time it up so my kernel that moves at 0.75 lands here the same time, and after I launched, he continued to go back. So there is 130 ships going to go into this nebula, and he took all 75 out. There could be more. There could have been some in there. I don't know. But we're going to proceed with caution. That's what we're going to do, because at this point, let's just go ahead and get this. I moved up the ships from Vasto just to get them into position. And I went ahead and took another Boblin star. Now I know he's got the 130 and I've got 130. He's in an asteroid field. It's an unknown. So I didn't want to just push them in, and I was at one point thinking of attacking from multiple angles. But ultimately, what I decide to do instead, and this is where we're current. I'm just going to consolidate here, regroup, and then push in together. I don't need to make a big rush here. I can play it safe. Boblin's dead, right? And then over here, what I see. So here's there's a decent number of Boblin stars, but the Shine's she's going to take this next tick in 121, presumably push up into here. So all of these two goes away. Looks like Boblin maybe making a play down there, but I've only have 46, so they're more of like observers and protectors. And remember, we had that Explorer. I forget how many's in there, but I'm going to let them take that one as well and just keep pushing into the southwest. So the cycle was pretty good. I finished off another banking and a terraforming.
and then I got a nice big push up to 99 economy. And then when you look at my science, I'm going to be doing, I got a couple more in the very first tick of this next cycle, 25 science, so that by before the last tick, I'll have 2 terraforming. So I'll go from terraforming 2 to 4, and then I'm going to spend all 1,000 on that. So I'm going to be, I bought a few more, I had to buy 2 more science, and I bought like 5 really cheap industry, mostly up in here that I was holding off on. And that's it. We're going to be in position here next cycle. So next cycle we'll be able to start looking up what's happening up north. But for right now, it's just going to keep pushing on, minimize spend, really focus, since we're in good shape, on building up our economy. Doing a quick look around the VV front, basically at this point, I'm almost on it, and so that'll become the new front in the south. But we have Alpha, who pushed into the north there, has started to take a star or 2 from Vivi on his western front. Gork's ready to make a big assault, so that's going to be coming excitement. And then Nutmix too is going to start pushing, so there's going to be 3-4 of us pushing on Vivi. He should fall quick, even though he's big. I mean, he's 4v1, it's just math. Up north, we haven't heard a lot on the Mies Baghera front, other than getting in position, but our buddy up there, Dishwasher, is okay. He's holding on, and so I'm about to get in position there. The biggest issue in this phase is Tremek disappeared, went AFK, so it's been 2 days since he's logged in. No one's heard from him. Hope he's okay. But we have a replacement. We have Anamy, A-N-A-M-Y. So they'll be picking up the position. They say they have 22 stars, 800 credits, and 2 tokens, no specialists. So it's not very good shape, but they'll try to salvage what they can. Here we go, cycle 6. We are going to resume our Boblin hunt. And you can see here, Boblin over here in the east, getting eaten up by the Shine. On the west, it's all us, baby. We have push that we're about to make in this nebula. Let's see how things progress. And I'll try to keep it so we can see both of these things, because right here, the Shine making a big play here. And here we go. We're really hoping this round here. Oh, we got a little more vision, by the way. So now we see more of Alpha. We see what's going on. We're really hoping this is one of the last couple of rounds to deal with Boblin. But we know he does have a lot of ships going on. So you see again retreating into this nebula. We have a sense that there's like 100 or so, 150 maybe. I forget exactly how many's in there. But here we go. So we're regrouping. We're consolidating before a big push, because I don't want to lose those specs. I don't want them, especially in an asteroid belt and a nebulous. It's a little bit scary to push into there, but you can't be afraid in this game. So boom, there we go. We're getting ready to roll. Just getting ready to fall. And some interesting things happen. I see this Explorer leave. I don't know why, but it lands in 12 hours. Right? 12 hours. So I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I can blow this up. It's got 1 ship, so I should be able to kill this. And if he messes up and lets that land, that's -3, which will negate his kernel and his defense bonus. So I tell everyone around, hey, everyone hit this binary. This is our golden opportunity to get rid of the binary. I did not get anyone else doing it, but that's okay. Meanwhile, over here on the west side, boom, that goes down. He retreated yet again. And now we see the binary down here, Crony, which is probably going to be his last stand. But he has about 300 ships over here, and I'm only at 300, so we set up the rally here. I think we warp gate up top, because once again, I'm afraid if I just push now, he reinforces and blows me up. You can see coming over here, the Shine, even though I don't have full vision, there's 229, plus 69 for the shine. Should take that, right? No problem. But then Infiltrator Colonel gets bought. That's 6 tokens that Boblin used, and it has some devastating effects. Madison loses over 300 ships on that asteroid belt nebula, so I feel really bad. And then, kind of salt in the wound, I go to kill that explorer. He didn't kill the explorer. I end up taking it. So yeah, so we'll look at the battle log here. It's I mean, I'm happy about taking, but really the Shine or Alpha should have got it. But you know what? I'll take it. And you can see Madison's going to pick up some more troops to finish off over here, but a little bit of a hiccup. And but this basically, they're just locked down in that star. So we zoom back over here, and we're making our play. And again, complete and utter consolidation at this point. And so I'm feeling pretty good about taking Nuha. And of course I am going to take Nuha now. And boom. I get it. The problem, of course, is that's a lot. So here's where I'm at right now. We're at 19 minutes before the end of the cycle. And let's take a look at where things stand with Boblin. We've got just this one Shorta that the Shrine should pick up. Boblin, I'm going to have to get a little more reinforcements because I don't want him blowing up 500 ships. I do finally see Vivi on the front here with this guy. I'm going to try to get a little bit better position. But Boblin's down to 5 stars. Let's take a look around the galaxy. We have a new refreshed map now with a lot more detail, a lot of things connected. Western side is fully connected, so that is a beautiful thing. So, as you can see, we have Vivi surrounded. Goric, Alpha, myself, Nutmeg's all going to hit him. So at this point, I decide I'm not going to push on Vivi. We'll finish off Boblin and let the 3 of them eat Vivi. I don't need to participate. They don't need me. So where am I going to go? I'm looking at Titanic, and I don't know how far west he goes, but I'm thinking about upgrading Scan and seeing if I can't make a little cheeky, big gap attack through the void. But that seems to be more of a luxury move, because up in the northwest, we've not heard a ton from Dishwasher. They've been pretty quiet, and we see Bagheera and Mies doing an attack and not having a response from Dishwasher. So Alias is like, hey, I need help. It's trouble up there. These guys are pretty good. I did do an early attack that got thwarted, but I've got more ships on the way. So really, for Cycle 7, it's got to be science, and I have to help Alias get up there. We need to save the northwest corner, because once that corner's gone and in our control, then we can shift focus all towards the center, where the real final end fight's going to be. So right now, trouble up in the northwest with Dishwasher. I should be able to salvage it with Boblin being done. So I had conversations, and I'm rerouting 2/3 of my ships now. Basically everything but the freshly acquired Boblin scars are going to go up north and help Dishwasher and Alias. Goric making progress on Vivi. Let's go ahead and listen to his little update.
We now interrupt our daily broadcast to bring you news from the front. With new scanning technology, we've been able to see more than ever before. In fact, we can see their capital now. 'Tis awful close, and in fact there's a plan in the works to collect ships on Andant and send them on a smuggler as fast as possible to take the capital once those ships have moved. Won't take long. Hopefully we can distract them on the other fronts in order to be able to do so. The Emperor made a call out to the entire Empire for volunteers, and they gathered on the star Bera. From Bera, a mighty fleet is launched. 2 fleets, in fact. Piggy's revenge and Pugfart's revenge. They're going for the planet Chitra. Hopefully they'll take it by end of day. Once they do, they'll move on to Thune, from Thune to Indraya, Indraya forward to glory. We hope to distract the enemy enough to be able to not only take their stars, but prevent them from reinforcing the capital when we make a strike there. On the Western Front, it's still the same. Uskus continues to build up with backing from Nani and Nandon. From there, we have held a choke point that they can't seem to breach. Their tech has increased a little. It's increased actually significantly. Their weapons are level 2, so are ours. We're currently researching weapons 3, then on to weapons 4, hoping to maintain advantage over them. We should take Chitra. Don't think they have enough tokens to defend it. If they do, I'd be shocked. It'd take one hell of a mighty force. Today is the day that we make our advance forward to glory. For His Majesty Gorak Lowhouse, may his mercy be eternal. Let them suffer.
Moving on, we look at Skrolk. Now, Skrolk is blocking in, completely blocking in life. And between life and the shine, they should be able to deal with them. And obviously, if not, when the wave and the hordes from our west push in, they should. But hopefully that can be resolved. Because in the center, you have Mustache Mario dealing with Titanic, with Skrolk to their southern front flank. But you also have Brown Diamond, who really is going to have to be holding the fort and become as big of a speed bump and as spiky as they can be. And the middle is going to be hard between Nira, Titanic, Dino, Crunchy, me, Balrog. That whole northern center of the map is going to be where their strength is. On the east side of the map, you have a very strong group of players that are coordinating quite well between Green Circle, Cosmos, the Jewish Star Empire, and they're working to save Piggy. Piggy's getting eaten from every side and doing everything Piggy can do to not be killed, but they're going wee all the way home, that's for sure. But they're fighting against the FFA Enthusiast and the Hunt and making good progress against both of those. But again, they have to deal with definitely the Bob and Balrog that are eating Piggy, so they're soon going to be facing the center and be completely disconnected from the rest of us. It's going to be basically a sandwich where we're smushing them middle together. Around technology, I do end up getting both levels of terraforming. I get 35 economy built out at the end of the cycle, so I'm at 134, 80, 27. Next cycle, my intention right now, build a couple of warp gates with my new terraforming, get that highway going north, build some more science, so I can churn through, catch up on manufacturing and specialists next cycle, and see where I need to go after that. Picking up in cycle 7, let's kill some Boblins, hey? So where did we leave off? We've got them on the ropes, and we're going to go ahead and I was thinking about pushing in directly, but my fear was I wasn't keeping track enough. I know that he built used some tokens over here, but my fear was if they had enough for a general and a cannon and an infiltrator, he would blow me up and it would be too bad of a trade. So on the tech front right now, I'm going to get a level of manufacturing and 2 levels of the specialists to catch me up on the military front. So that's the goal for this cycle, and I can get it all done before the end of the tick. So that's 2 extra tokens every cycle. We get some more scouting in place, so I can see now VV's here, and so that's good just to get some eyes on what's going on. I send this guy across. I let the star go to Nutmix because I wanted him to get some stars too. Reinforcements coming in, and I see this reaction, and I thought, well, if he's going to do that, let me see if I can drain some troops from Crony, so the impact of the inevitable specialist isn't as great. So I go ahead and send in another 125, anticipating that he'll blow him up, but I want to see him dwindle that down.
And he does. So then I'm like, all right, great. Let's send another 125. And again, that's fine. This time he sends his lieutenant, which makes the trade not as good. At this point, he does a counterattack. I did the math, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I should be able to defend that. Just with production, what an idiot. He's so stupid. What a big dummy. Speaking of big dummy, one thing you may have noticed, this explorer took all my troops and took them away from the front line and brought them back. So I had to wait for them to come back, which cost me like a lot of time. But I'm like, well, it is what it is now. I get to the point now where manufacturing's done, and in this tick I finished specialist. And so for other reasons I'm going to talk about in a second, I say I need to go to weapons. And so I'm like, fine, it's time to make the play. And so I'm lining up the final showdown, and I'm going to time it up so that when my weapons hits, I'll hit Crony. When you look around, I did get some more scouting in place. So I can see Goric now, by the way, and super excited to see that he's at banking 6 and weapons 3 and scanning 4. He's looking strong, and I love seeing that tech. VV's going to die. Boblin's going to die. No problem. I have some more vision over here with the shine, so that's all the good news. So now let's talk about the bad news. We haven't heard from Dishwasher in a while. But then all of a sudden he logged in and was like, hey, they're attacking my capital. Sorry, I've not been around. And it was, he just left his warp gates up. He left his looping in place. So Mies and Bagheera took advantage, and that was really unfortunate. So while I was getting some ships into position, thinking that Dishwasher was all up in here, I find out that he's not. So you can see the picture, Dishwasher not looking so strong. And so at this point, I'm like, crap. That's the reason I'm like, okay, after I finish that spec, I need to go weapons. And at this point, as soon as that Boblin star is dead, I'm going to have to go and route 100% of my troops up north, because it's going to take, basically now it's not 2 of them. They're going to have roughly equivalent of 150 stars. So I need to send my whole troops up there. There you have it. You see Bagheera. Spec wise, he's not any better than me. As a matter of fact, I'm ahead of Bagheera, thankfully. You'll see when we get to 160 here. Once I'm going to hit specialist, and I'm up on terraforming in range, so I'm slightly ahead, although they just captured a bunch of stars, so it's very possible that they're going to catch up with me. But oh, and then they just picked up a scanning, so they just did a scanning, which means they're not doing weapons, and now I have weapons done in 21 hours. So that's the good news. When you look back here, basically this whole western side is Mies, and then Mies and Bagheera are up top. So we're going to need Nutmix to come up and help with Mies. Alias is going to have to split, and I'm going to pull up everything to deal with Bagheera, because once this northwest corner is dealt with, VV's not a threat, Boblin's not a threat, Skrulk's not a threat. We can have this entire western hemisphere pushed into the center where there's going to be a problem. But until then, it's going to take 3 of us to deal with these 2. That leaves Goric, Alpha, Shrine, Battery, Mario, Brown Diamond to deal with the center, which should be enough, but they're going to be consolidated, and we're going to have like Goric traveling 4 days to get to the front line. So that's a bit scary. Cycle 8. This should be the final video of this series, because this ends Act 1. There once was an empire named Boblin. And Boblin's only got 3 stars left. He's been on the run, but we're really expecting that he's going to do this final big epic last stand to maximize damage. He's been collecting all his troops. So let's see how this plays out. First of all, I was an idiot, somehow miscalculated. I lost the star, and I just told Nutmix to take it. Just bad on me. But I calculated out, and here I go. I basically get an explorer, or not explorer, a general, and an infiltrator, and time it up to have my weapons land. So I'll have weapons. What will I have? Weapons 3 to his 1, plus a general, plus an infiltrator. There's no way mathematically he can defeat me. He can try monkey business trying to, like, maybe he warp gates this and tries to get around me, but he's losing this 9 industry star. And so let's see how it goes. And meanwhile over here, Shine is getting ready to take that last little nebula that's been a bit of a nuisance, and really excited to finally have Boblin dead. And right as I'm about to take his capital, what does he do? He flees. He flees, and I take his capital for almost no losses. I think he had like 1 ship on it. I got the idea of, okay, let's accumulate, let's make him like maximize damage. But then he goes on a suicide mission down here. So I take over this other star. Oops, and misclick. I don't remember exactly where I was, but it doesn't matter. At this point, Boblin is removed from this part of the map. He's got 1 star. He sends some ships on a suicide mission. We see those get destroyed, and that's it for Boblin. Now, Alpha, you can see on this map, and I'll put an overlay on, finished off the stars he can get with Vivi. Nutmix only has a couple of stars here that he can hit, and I think we'll be able to see it here in a second. And so he's launching on a couple of VV stars, and Gork's going to clean them up. So yeah, so there's just a little bit left here, and then over here's a bunch of VV stars. Gork is our biggest player, but now the big problem is the fact that Twig Wolf 4 took 2 days not logging in, went AFK, came online, and then went AFK for another 2 days and got booted again. So where we stand right now, with 1 hour to go before the end of the cycle, is everything I have is going north. 100% of my ships, because there's no threat from Vivi. I'll put up an overlay. Skrulk is basically neutralized, so the only threats now are in the center of the map. And we're going to send Alpha immediately. We have the Shine, we have Battery, we have Mario, we have Lyra, and then Gork's going to finish up Vivi and head over. In the northwest, though, it's a little bit more problematic, because when we look in here, I won't go through all the details, we'll resume the play-by-play, but I lost some ships up here. 3 attacks now have failed. However, we did just have a huge victory, and that huge victory was right here. We were able to blow up 300 Bagheera ships, infiltrator, and a lieutenant. So that's 5 tokens and 300 ships. That's not nothing. And so I have a lot more ships coming up. I finished 1 level of manufacturing that added 126 more ships a cycle, and in 7 hours and 3 minutes I'm going to get to another level of manufacturing and then go to weapons. So I'll have 4 down the road. I'll probably get scanning after that, so just have 4 on everything, and we'll see where we go from there. So Boblin dead. Now we have a major threat with Mies and Bagheera, while we don't know how bad we're going to be overrun in the center, but we're streaming to the middle. Wish us well.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.